here it is.
There you
Let's
go.
wait for a snack. It's on your back. It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than that. It's good. Everyone wants a lawn. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your lawn. Everyone needs a lawn.
Live from Blammo.
Blammo. All right, here we go.
Funk jazz. Oh, yeah.
And we're back with my good buddy Allen Dowling is back in the house. How are you, buddy?
Good. How you doing today?
And then I'm fantastic. I'm loving this weather. Actually had a cold front come in. Is that what it is?
Is this a cold front? I mean, it's not 108, so.
Yeah, we'll take it.
It's a warm front.
Yeah.
We got Bruce Schwarz
What's going on?
with SVT. Check it out, folks. He brought us some swag.
Everybody loves swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Everybody loves swag.
So the SVT Cobra, is that kind of what that is? I mean, is that
Yeah,
copyright
and my
infringement?
boss wasn't super creative with the name. He likes
Hey, it's cool.
Mustangs, and I
Oh.
love Mustangs too. So
Hey, cool.
yeah, we haven't got a cease and desist order yet, so we're
Not
just
yet.
gonna go with it for a
Till
little
John puts it on his podcast. And it's
Yeah.
so popular
Yeah, I
that
know.
Ford's going to
Hey.
be like, whoa,
Hey.
bit.
whoa,
One
whoa.
can hope.
Hey.
One
Yeah.
can hope.
87 followers, dude.
I'm surprised
Hopefully,
they,
none of them work for
yeah.
corporate Ford, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm surprised they, because when you do the LLC search, if it's so close to something, don't they typically say, like, hey, you got to,
Yeah, but if you put that
Yeah.
aviation
Yeah.
behind it,
that's true.
and
Yeah.
then SVT is a branch off of Ford, so
Yeah.
you know,
All right, so let's talk about this. We're back at Fast Brewery Company, folks. It's packed. There's so many people here.
There's my buddy Tony. Tony, what's up?
What's up, Tony?
It's so loud, I can barely hear you.
I know. I mean, I'm so glad we have the noise cancellation thing
Yep.
and all going on. So good.
It's good.
So let's talk about Fast Brewery. So the folks know, it used to be at the hotel, which is no longer. It is now at this location on Castell. I can't remember the address. I probably should have wrote that down, but
It's okay. It's Castell.
it's just Castell. I mean,
And technically, the brewery has always been here.
oh, has it?
Yeah. So, right?
Well, we have Frankie off camera
This
here.
this building brewery, we brewed it over there too. We started the Copper Tank. It's completely false information that I'm giving. you.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe you need her on here too.
We'll get Frankie on here.
Yeah, it might be best.
So let's talk a little bit about this venue. It's new. It opened up officially April 1st. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce, but jump in. We have...
I'm not going to correct you anymore. I'll ask Frankie first and then go from there.
Frankie, don't move. Just stay right here,
Stay right
please.
here for this part.
Please, for the rest of this. We have a restaurant under construction. Am I right?
Correct.
We have a food trailer that is open 7 days? From what time to what time? 11?
9 till 10 on Saturday and Sunday.
Go ahead and put it in.
Saturdays.
Say it again, Frankie.
11 to 9 and till 10 on Friday and Saturday night.
Nice. They have lots of shade canopies to beat the heat. The bar has about 4 or 5 tables. Can seat about, 15, 20 people. 7 people. 7 tables? 8 of them?
No,
8.
4 tables, about 8 bar tops.
Okay. The wait staff, the bartenders, I should say, are fantastic. Very nice. I've gotten to know Trent. I've gotten to know Matt. And now I know Frankie a little bit better. What else we got here? We have right behind me the private room.
Private venue.
Venue, right?
VIP party room.
Little VIP party
Nice.
room. And then over here we have a coffee shop.
Future.
Future.
Coffee shop.
And then off to, what is that, stage left on my right would be the office of Faust Brewery, which they have, they have really huge steins in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could
They
have
were
been
the old school
practicing
ones.
with those, yeah.
Have you ever went to the hotel and in the bar? They were sitting up there.
Were they
along
really?
the windows. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do they still own the hotel?
No.
Okay. No longer.
So that's the split. Maybe that's what I was thinking of is the split. When they came over here, this is Faust Brewing. It is not
Got it.
associated with the hotel any
Okay.
longer.
Yeah, Vance sold May of 2022.
Got it. Okay. So here we are. They were kind enough to let me bring all my playground stuff here because I just didn't want living in my
The logs in the grass.
the logs in the grass and
Between two logs, right?
yeah, we're gonna put like
Oh yeah, between
Yeah.
two. Yeah.
we'll do a fern and we'll just say 2 guys and 1 fern or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then we'll have our guests and then,
Yeah.
whatever.
Just to insult them.
Yeah.
Ridiculously insult them.
We're gonna build on this. And so, anyways, I just want to shout out to Faust Brewery Company for allowing me to have a stage to do whatever the heck it is I'm doing because
Yeah, it's better than the garage, yeah.
It is better than the garage.
Although your garage is air conditioned.
It is air conditioned.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
By
So-
any means.
So yeah, Frankie's trying to give air conditioning with it. That's good. That's good. So yeah, let's get right into it. I wanted to say, Bruce, thank you again for just having the courage to hop on. You don't know me from Adam. Well, you
No, I
don't-
met you once.
you met me
We
once.
talked for about 30 minutes, maybe?
Maybe 30.
Well, we hit it off pretty well. We had a good
Yeah,
conversation.
We did.
And you said, hey, you want to do this?
Yeah.
And
How'd you guys meet?
Here. I was
really?
sitting at that table right there next to the door.
Okay.
And I was about 6 Lone Stars in and maybe 2 shots. And I said, yeah, I'll do a podcast.
I picked the right time to come
Yeah.
because I had 0 shots and 0 beers. I was like, this is how I can recruit.
Nice.
It's a good idea.
So
It's a good tactic.
I got Bruce's number. I started texting him. I actually texted some of our podcast
Okay.
stuff. Not knowing if you watched it all or even clips.
I
but
did. I just,
Thank you.
yeah.
I wanted you to see what you were getting into.
Yeah.
Because
Looked like I was getting into a garage.
Yeah. I mean, it really is just messing around.
Yeah.
He bought all this equipment, so now he's got to.
well,
No, it
Do
looked
something
fun.
with it,
It looked
yeah.
fun.
it's totally fun. I mean, we're the nice thing. Well, Al and I became friends. I'd like to thank COVID for that.
Yep.
And
It was COVID's
his
fault.
daughter, my son, are good best of friends, and so that was kind of the reason that we kind of met. And then, 2 years later, now we're next door neighbors. We took the fence down, and I can go right into his backyard and knock on his
Nice.
door, or
Yeah.
go right in if I want. And we have a good time. We we
Y'all
look
got a
out for each
pool
other.
or something?
He does have a pool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool, yep.
That's why the fence came
Yeah.
down.
That's
yeah,
exactly why.
absolutely. Well, the deal is I did the
Water.
pool, and he's supposed to do the
hot tub.
hot tub.
Oh, nice.
Because I really just wanted a hot
Can
tub.
I get a hot tub?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what happened here,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Uh-huh.
He lives in the neighborhood that we both got to know each other in is, across the street. And he decided to move about a year and a half ago, to this new development across the street, basically, and in a cul-de-sac. Fast forward a year later, there's a model home next to his that was up for sale, and he got first dibs. The people with Chesmar, I think,
Well, it's not that I had first steps to buy it, but they're like, do you know anybody that would
Well, right.
potentially want the house? Yeah.
to pick his neighbors.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Because they had a whole list of people that were interested, because everyone wanted, whatever.
Yeah.
So he calls me up on a Sunday after I don't know, I was doing frisbee golf with Rob.
Yeah, you'd been drinking all day. Yep.
No, I was good. I was not drinking all day, but I did have some beverages. That was the one that I did the skip.
Yeah.
The skip.
It was a good video.
That was fun. And Rob went outside of his comfort zone again for me. Thank you, Rob.
You made a skip shot?
Well,
It's a
no,
good skip shot?
no.
Oh.
It was a.
Oh,
It's like two best friends.
It was a video of me and him skipping into
Yeah.
Prince Psalms, holding hands.
it has nothing to do with golf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the
golf,
frisbee
no.
golf course.
It was a
Yeah.
frisbee golf course, but I made a video, and it was just the best of friends kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Uh,
And he and I are both married. But it was very frolicky.
oh.
I made it that way, and so, anyways, that evening, this guy calls me up and say, "Hey, you should really look at this, man. It's a good deal." So I go and look at it, and then I was like, you know what? Who cares? I'll put some earnest money down. What do I got to lose? I can always get that back. And meanwhile, my wife had been out all day with a friend of hers on the river, and she had some beverages, and she got home later that evening, and I said, hey, guess what? Bought a house.
Ugh.
She's like, you did? Okay, where are we moving to? I said, well, we're going to be next door to Al. It's going to be that model home. You've seen it. She's like, oh, really? Okay. She was all happy and da-da-da-da. And then we went into his house. We talked a little bit. And she was gone, right? And so
That's the first time my dad met your wife,
Yeah,
by the way. And she was stumbling all over the house. I think she fell on the couch. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. My dad's like, "Man, your neighbors, dude." I was like, yeah.
They're awesome.
He's
So
like, what are you inviting next to you? And I was like, it'll be fine.
it'll be fine.
Yep.
So the funny part about it is, that night, we went to bed. Next morning, she wakes up. She's like, I had the weirdest dream that you bought a house next door to Allen. I was like, yeah, I kind of did.
That is a dream.
I said, but, if you want to back out, we can. But I think we can make it happen. So we did. And now we've been neighbors, like literally next door neighbors since May.
Yeah.
So,
See, that would have been one of those fun things if you just, like, hey, we got a U-Haul, we're going, pack everything in there, and then just,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
here we go,
yeah.
all right, we're unpacking it all.
So that's what I did. I moved from 500-600
Yeah.
feet from my other house, but this was a much nicer house and a much bigger house and
Yeah.
a nicer community. The cul-de-sac. There's like a lake across from the house. There's
Nice.
a big, it's a retention pond behind the house, but there's no water in
yeah.
it because of the drought. But
Were you walking couches across the street kind of
no,
thing?
you know
or-
what? I actually paid somebody to move everything.
Oh, nice.
So
I've
you gotta,
heard that's
you know,
worth every penny.
It is.
of
It is.
yeah, he did it right. I
Yep.
didn't. I
Yeah.
went the cheap ski route.
That's okay.
Thank you so much,
Well, you left
Frankie.
half your house in your
Frankie,
house.
everybody.
Yeah. You left half your
Where's
house.
that
at your
applause
house.
button?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Frankie, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't hear it.
Thank you, Frankie.
Nice.
Got a drinking problem over there?
Yeah, he's sloppy.
Was that airplane?
That's where I acquired my drinking problem.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what happened, right? I mean, and the whole podcasting idea, this is just to fill you in, was the brainchild of him last year during, what was it, March? We were at the poorhouse. and-
Yeah, we were at the poorhouse and we were drinking and
Yeah.
it was like, we should start a podcast.
And call it the worst.
The worst.
The worst.
podcast. I was like, that would be good. You go around and go to all the bars and you can do like a live podcast so everybody's drinking. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
And we still will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's building up to it. He ran with it. I bought him a book, How to Podcast.
I read like 10
Yeah.
pages, dude.
For dummies?
Yeah.
For dummies. I meant to bring it, but I
Yep.
didn't.
How to Podcast for Dummies. And he bought this little machine and we went camping in Paladuro.
Paladuro,
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we did that shtick with, what was it? Oh, man. Help me out. With Hot Rod, it was, now my
Oh,
brain.
I like to party.
I like to party.
No,
No,
you
my
don't-
name's
you don't
Al.
party.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
did a little shtick on that, and we
Yeah.
posted it to our friends on our Facebook Messenger group
Mhm.
or whatever. So here we are now. We're
Here we
at
are.
Faust, and we're
On stage.
on stage, and now we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about Bruce Schwarz. Let's just
Yeah.
talk about your last name. Let's start there.
Schwarz.
Schwarz.
Shots.
Are you born and bred in New Braunfels?
I am born and raised New Braunfels, yes.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
Would you believe it or not? So I was born in the hospital over here. It was called McKenna back then, and I was born there. And the house I still currently live in is the house I live in now.
No.
Yeah. So my parents moved out. They purchased another property, and they need somebody to take care of the house, and so that's where I'm at. So I've lived in the same house for 33-ish years. I'm
Wow.
33 years old.
Nice.
It is nice. It's a excellent location. They purchased it in '89, I think, and it was down the street was a little go-kart track, and they tore down that go-kart track, and it became Schlitterbahn.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah. It's one of their second or their third park, but yeah, it's a great location. I'm sure in most people's phones I'm river parking Bruce kind of thing, but it's okay. It's fine. That's how I make half my friends, you know.
That's
good.
true.
But it's been a good location. Born and raised here with Wurstfest, and
Yeah.
I mean we're talking concert in the park. My parents actually they both graduated from New Braunfels High School.
Wow.
Wow.
I feel like I'm not having the mic. There we go. This is better.
You're good.
And so all my entire immediate family is unicorns. Like it's a good feeling, you know. So other than that, yeah, just been here. I went to school at Texas State for a little while, and just been here.
So let's talk about that. So now you work for SVT.
I do.
You're a helicopter mechanic,
Yeah.
right?
That is correct.
You know, Al, been in the Army for 20 years, been flying helicopters, and well, how does one get into being a helicopter mechanic?
So I turned 16. I bought my dad's truck. I think I paid him $1,500 for that thing. I still have it, and I could drive, so I went down to New Braunfels Airport and I said, "Hey, could I get a job?"
Nice.
That's how it worked. And it was like the day after I got my license. So, and they were like, "Yeah, sure." And I think I was refueling aircraft at 16 years old, which I'm pretty sure is illegal.
No, that's not. Really,
It's got to be because, I mean, so like Learjets, for example. You have Learjets.
Yeah.
If you fill them up too heavy on one side, they'll tip over. Nobody ever informed me of that. Thank God I didn't have to refuel a Learjet. But they're long gone, whatever. And so I went from there and got a job next door, and got a job next door after that. And so when I started college, I got a job with a company called Alpha Aircraft, and I worked there. I said, "Hey, can I get a job?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can sweep the floors, for this much an hour." And started there, and that's what kicked me off. I learned parts. I learned fixed wing very, very well. 2008 got, they had the layoffs, everything like that. So it was a while back. I think it was 2011, 2012. Got laid off and went to work at Blue Bonnet Motors for a little bit, a Ford dealership here.
Yeah.
So worked there for 6 years. It was good. It was good. A lot of learning experience with air tools and so on and so forth. Got some certifications there. And then I called a buddy of mine that I worked with at Alpha when I was 18. Those guys were, let's just say, hard on me, I suppose. Tough love kind of thing. And he started a business with helicopters. He came from Silver State Helicopters way back when. It was a flight school out here, and it kind of put New Braunfels on the map for a little while. He started his own company working on helicopters, and he hired me on, and well, I mean, the rest is history till where I'm at. So I've been there 5 years, and lead mechanic. It's been a good time.
What kind of questions you got for this guy, Al? I mean, come on, you're on. You're an airport advisory for New Braunfels.
I love it all, man. We could talk about World War II. We could talk about Skunk Works. We could talk about rockets. I love rockets in space, man. We could talk about all that stuff, but
SpaceX. What does Al got?
Well, so you're doing the R44, right? It's a flight school. SVT?
No, it's not a flight school. So it's just we have a flight school next door.
Okay.
It's Veracity Aviation.
Veracity.
Awesome flight school. If you want to get your license, go there. They're awesome people. I know them personally. I've known them personally for years and years. They will train you in the R22s.
Okay.
So we work on R22s here and there.
What's an R22?
R22. So Robinson Helicopter Company has 3 models. They have an R22. It's a 2-seater, very, very tiny. It's got a reciprocating engine, so piston engine. They're great for training, and I've also heard I've been in them. They're rickety, but they're good for training. If you can fly that, you can fly anything. Is the phrase I hear from pilots. I'm no pilot, but and then they have the R44, and that's a 4-seater, also a piston engine, a lot more power, larger aircraft. And then they have an R66, which is their turbine version. It has a Rolls-Royce RR300 turbine engine in it, and that thing's pretty awesome. It's the most, from what I've seen and heard, it's the most affordable helicopter you want to have if you want to go turbine. It's a nice helicopter. It really is. And yeah, so I've flown on them all. I've worked on them all. We overhaul R66s at our shop.
Wow.
We've done 10 or 11 of them. We've done a couple 44s and a couple 22s as well. Just very well engineered, very comfortable ride, and affordable.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
The
was a rundown. I feel like I was
Yeah.
reading off a sheet there,
No,
but
no,
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 it was
but
all
you-
from
you-
the brain, man.
Yeah.
You filled in some blanks that I had.
Yeah.
He knows what you're talking about. I have no clue, but now I have a better insight.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, flight school in the Army, you start on a, well, now it's a twin engine, I think, but you start a single engine, and I don't even remember what engine it was. I think it was a GE something for the Jet Ranger.
I
Yeah.
can't recall. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, God, what was the model number? I don't remember anymore. So
They were the 206s, though,
yeah,
right?
the Bell, the
yeah.
B206, the
Yeah,
Bell 206. Yep. Yep. Now it's EC 135 something
Yep.
or another, and that everybody starts off with nice digital screens.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
GPS
glass cockpit
and
is something else.
autopilot. Yeah.
See, I talk about that all the
Yeah.
time when I was obsessed with it. I wanted to be a pilot my
Yeah.
entire life, right?
Oh,
so
really?
My entire life I wanted to be a pilot. But the only reason I wanted to be a pilot is because I think I watched Apollo 13 or something like that. I've been obsessed with space more so.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to be a pilot. And when I asked my mom, I said, "Hey, how do I become a pilot?" So I'm talking like I'm a baby kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And she said, "You're watching Apollo 13 and you want to be an astronaut, kind of thing." And so she said all these astronauts were pilots first. They were test pilots,
Yep.
and Navy, Air Force, whatever. So, well, I'm going to do that. That's where we're going to go. And so my dad took me to an air show when I was like 5, and I was just hooked. And then I flew for the first time, believe it or not, when I was 15. I was like way later, and I got severely airsick.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah, it still happens to this day. I still get
Yeah.
airsick. I just got better ways of coping with it. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can either sick it out. That's what they call it. Like, you just fly until you're done being sick. Or I could be a mechanic, and do it that route. So I went the mechanic route, and I still get to fly. I've flown some cool airplanes, some cool helicopters. But, I mean, the space drive was always there. And it was pretty disheartening at first, getting sick. And I'm like, oh, this is my dream. And it's like God's cruel joke. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to instill this in you. You love this. Oh, yeah, also you get sick,
Well, at least you found out before.
Flight school.
Like a significant amount of money or your time. So I had in my flight school class, but this is back in 2004. There was this Irish dude, and I don't remember how he was in the United States Army, but he was from Ireland, and he got to flight school. Then you got to do a commissioning program. So he went through the warrant officer flight training program. You commission as a W1, and he very beginning of flight school, the first couple of weeks, same thing. He couldn't fly it without throwing up.
Yeah.
So the Army gives you a few chances because they're like, well, we've already spent money on him to be an officer. Give him a few chances, but he put the patch on his ear. Nothing seemed to work, and
Yeah.
the Army's like, well, you've already commissioned. You owe us time, so we're gonna keep you in, but we're gonna reclass you to a different field.
Right.
So I don't even know what the guy's out there doing anymore. I lost track of him, but he joined the Army to fly. So now he joined the Army. He took money from them, and now they're like, nah, we own you now. So. Yeah, because when you accepted the application, you also accepted a 6-year service obligation.
Yeah.
So
4 active and 2 non-active kind of thing.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, but I mean, I'm curious whatever happened to that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious whatever happened to that guy, just to see if he probably got out after his first commitment was up. But
All right.
I mean, that's super disheartening to be at. We call it Fort Rucker, Mother
yeah.
Ruckers, where they teach people how to fly,
Uh-huh.
and to get all the way there, to get through the commissioning program. You go on your first flight and you're just like throwing up everywhere, and it's a miserable experience. So
Yeah. I mean, I've had airline flights. I'm good.
Yeah.
And like helicopters, actually, I'm better in. So in a small little like Cessna 152
oh yeah,
or a 172, when you hit that turbulence, I mean, you feel it.
Yeah.
You really feel it. In a helicopter, R-44 or an R-66, you're not gonna. It kind of shimmies a little bit. I mean, you feel a little bit of the turbulence, but it's more side to side and a jostling. More than you're going up and now you're going down and now you're stable. So I've gotten a little bit better with it. I mean, I haven't been sick in quite a few flights, but
that's good.
yeah, it's fun.
It does. Sometimes it takes people a while. So it's
So what was it with you, Al? I mean, you went into the Army when you were 18, fresh out of high school,
Yep.
right? And then, did you fly or have any? I mean, what was your story like?
I mean, I'd always remember wanting to fly when I was a little kid, kind of like his story. Just
yeah.
I don't know what experience it was, but I know my mom was a flight attendant in the 80s, and we couldn't really afford babysitters. So she would just take us on the flights. And
That's
I just,
awesome,
yeah,
man.
I just remember going on airplanes a lot as a kid. So I just always wanted to fly from then. Probably from that. So same thing, 15, I did my first like introductory flight and kind of forgot about it for a while. You get in high school, you start getting involved with all the high school stuff, and you got my first job so I can start putting money towards flight school.
Yeah.
And then I got 16, and it was more about driving and trying to get a car and paying. My dad made me pay the insurance, and you just kind of forgot about it. And then, came time for college. And I was like, oh fuck, I got to fund college somehow. So I joined the Army Reserve to get the GI Bill to go to college. But then 9/11 happened, and I never even got to go to college. It was like constantly back to Iraq. So on my first deployment to Iraq, we had we were stationed with this like National Guard Chinook company out of, I think it was Chicago, and we were helping them build helicopter pads in Kuwait. So they took us on some flights in a Chinook, and I just remember talking to the guy. I was like, "Oh my God, how do I do this?" And he's like, "Oh, well, funny enough, this is how you kind of go about it. When you get home, do this packet. You don't have to have a college degree. You can go straight in." And so I did that. I went home. After 15 months deployed, I came home, put in my packet, and this was like Iraq had kicked off. Afghanistan was going on. The Army was like short on people, but realizing that these were going to be very long, sustained operations. So I wouldn't say they were taking everybody. There was still a quality control process, but man, I put my packet in. 6 months it took, and then I found myself at Fort Rucker going through the commissioning program. That was 6 weeks long, and then all of a sudden one day you're on the flight line flying helicopters.
That's
so.
warrant officer program?
Yeah, it's warrant officer.
All
So
right.
you get it. It's the best of both worlds. So you're not a commissioned officer, so I don't have to lead troops. I have no authority as far as leading people.
Right.
But my authority lies in the fact that I kind of carry the commander's authority inside the cockpit, right?
That's fair, yeah.
So all your decisions are essentially delegated as like, a commissioned officer is commissioned by the President of the United States.
Right.
So whatever they tell you, that's almost like the president is telling out of your mouth. So it is a verbal order can be very lawful, and then there's consequences if you disobey that order. And then warrant officer's a little bit different. We kind of carry the weight of the commander. We don't have as much weight, but I also don't have the responsibility of those guys, because
Right.
all I did was focus on flying the helicopter. That was it.
That's fair.
Yeah, we tracked because you do instructor pilot, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you could do maintenance test pilot.
Yeah.
Or we have a aviation safety officer, and then we have another one that's mission survivability. They kind of concentrate on like the wartime aspect, like if you get shot down, what are your tactics when you do that? So there's always somebody. But I was like, well, I want to be in the helicopter as much as possible, so I stayed in the instructor world, just like a CFI.
Yeah.
And did that for like 18 years. 18
Damn.
years, yeah. So I was actually retiring, and they forced everybody in the fucking Army to get that bullshit COVID shot.
Mm-hmm.
And a second, we did the booster.
Uh-huh.
I started getting dizzy, so I was like, well, fuck this, I'm retiring. I want to know what the hell's going on in my head. So I went to the hospital, scanned my head, and they're like, oh, dude, you got to do this surgery, like, now.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that kind of ended my flying career, because they cannot cut into the brain and then go back to flying for the military, which just sucks. So, but as much as I
You
love
got
flying,
the civilian world still.
yeah,
ahead
the
of you.
civilian world, it's not as bad. I'll do.
I've made it all the way
yeah.
in the civilian world, so I
Yeah.
know you can succeed
Yeah.
if you want to on that.
Oh,
on
I
that
mean,
aspect.
it's just time, right? So I have to sit for 2 years to apply to the FAA, but then on top of that, I got to do a neuropsych eval. So what sucks is like, I may be more competent than an average person off the street, but I will always for the rest of my life have to prove myself because I had this surgery. Just like driving, I'm not allowed to drive. My wife has to drive me everywhere. This guy's been driving
What?
me everywhere. Yeah. Well,
when?
So pretty soon here, I'll go down to the VA hospital, and they do an on-road driving assessment.
Okay.
Because, immediately after surgery, it's, you don't have attention, focus, all that. Whenever they fuck with your brain, your life will never be the same. That's kind of like the thing the doctor said, right? So I was out driving one day, and my wife was just like, hello, are you going to go? And like, I guess the light had been green for a while, and I just hadn't processed it. So
It's like, but
Yeah.
all right. So let
Yeah.
me back up a little bit. This is like 2 weeks after you had the surgery,
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe 3, and then on top of that, you have to understand that no one took his license away. It
Yeah.
was like totally like he didn't get pulled over and like
Right,
hey,
yeah.
you know, none of that happened. It was just his, you know, he's been going to, you know, with his wife.
I'd been doing rehab and stuff,
Yeah.
and
And it was brought up, and they're like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't be driving."
Yeah.
And so that's what happened.
Well, the FAA though, they'll pull your license. They're like, nope,
Yeah.
you ain't doing it.
So
Yeah.
I had a class 1. I was supposed to go work for a company called Wheels Up, and
yeah.
I literally was supposed to start training, and I had to call and be like, "Well, guys, I can't come up to training." They were going to give me my ATP certificate.
Yeah.
So we did that, or I called them up. I was like, "I can't do it," but my class 1 was up at the same time, so I just didn't renew it because I already knew I was going to do the surgery.
Yeah.
It was going to ground me, and it's better to not tell the FAA until you've already done all the stuff on the checklist,
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the FAA.
Yeah.
Do you know about the FAA? Oh.
The H in FAA stands for happiness.
only
Yeah.
only
Their
from what I've
slogan
heard.
is
Yeah.
they're not happy until you're not happy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I talked to a couple medical advisors. They're just like, just do the surgery, wait until, you know, they got the checklist of what I have to submit to them.
Yeah.
So I just let my currency or my medical lapse, and I'll just wait 2 years from the date of the surgery, and I'll give them everything they
Yeah.
need. And there'll be months of back and forth, right? Because I've already talked to another guy that was like, they're going to have to do a special like neurological panel to go through your record. They'll have people, like I had to supply them. I have the CD of the surgery, all the doctor's notes, the MRIs, the angiograms. They'll review all that to see like what a threat I am
Yeah.
to the population before they make their decision. So the ground guys or whatever. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
It's like a John disappeared
Yeah.
taking care of technical
yeah.
difficulties here.
So we'll, you know, eventually there is a path forward to get my class 1 back, which I'm really like, I really don't want to have to start over again.
Right.
Especially at 40 after finishing up. I'll get my Army retirement and disability. So I won't be hurt up for money. Just don't want to start again. I mean, I was going to go fly for the airlines and make the cush, you know, the cushion of life doing the airline job. And
So what class can you get with your circumstances?
I can still get a class 1.
Okay.
Now,
Can you get a 2 easier, or is it just
so I've talked with a couple like medical people that are like, don't even. I think a 2 would be easier, but I'm gonna go for the highest because I want to fly for an ATP.
That's fair.
And they were like, we're just gonna start with 1, and if the FAA comes back at you with something else, we'll go from there. So because you know they could say they put restrictions in there. They could say, hey, you're restricted to operations only with multi, cockpit or something like that.
Right.
It's called like an OM. Operations restricted to multi-licenses or something like that.
On top of that, can you have it's like the add-ons, like if you wanted to go NVG or something like that, or can you do that, like night vision?
You know what? I don't know actually,
Okay.
because I probably should add night vision because I have about 1,000 night vision hours.
Yeah.
Just being in the Army.
That's like good for like medevac if you want to do something like that.
Yeah, and I should add it, but we were flying NVGs before the FAA caught on and before the civilians, not caught on, but before it was civilian log time.
All right.
So I just never added that. It wasn't an endorsement like it is today, right?
Yeah.
So I probably should add that, but we'll see. I mean, I may try to do EMS. I mean, if I can get a class 2, we'll see. I mean,
Is that what Mike does?
yeah,
Bully?
EMS, yep.
Yeah, it's a rough schedule, I've heard, but it can be rewarding and
Yeah.
also not so much at times.
Well, they
you're
don't
never going
yeah.
into something that's in a good situation,
Well, not only that, but they don't get paid for the helicopter unless it's flying, so you don't have shitty weather. I wouldn't say they push people to go into shitty weather, but a lot of decisions are made to fly in like cloudy, maybe rainy conditions that they don't want to do.
I've heard it can be very competitive where like there's 2 or 3 groups, especially in big urban areas, that they're going to race to that event.
Yeah.
And whoever gets there first is the person that gets that contract for whatever it may be.
It's all insurance scams, man. Just like these
yeah.
ambulance chasers. Yep. It's all medical insurance scams.
Do re
So,
mi.
yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's cool. I didn't want to do it. I started transitioning all my certificates to fixed wing because it's just an easier lifestyle. Helicopters are rough on the body.
Oh, yeah.
The vibrations. I've got neck, lower back problems just from, sitting in a helicopter. And the original version of the Black Hawk, didn't have a lot of vibration dampening going on.
They have like a crazy counterweight in there, right?
They do now.
Yeah.
So I started flying the newest version of that back in 2013, and it is just so different. I mean, it's a smoother helicopter. You know, you go through ETL, the aircraft, the older aircraft would just vibrate.
Oh, yeah.
Not violently, but like you could feel, going through ETL.
That's effective translational lift.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Thanks for filling me in. I was lost.
So
I was looking over this way.
it's basically when your helicopter becomes like the rotors become more like a wing, right?
Yeah, so it's out of hovering, and then it goes into like an airplane phase.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like
Becomes
you could,
efficient,
you could definitely, like, if you were given the controls, realistically, if you ever flown a flight simulator, you could deal with it. But in a hover, it's a completely different aerodynamics.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen. Like, I've been doing therapy all summer. It's been my whole go-to. I drive down to San Antonio to the Burrs Clinic every day.
Nice.
But now that I did my neuropsych eval,
Every day?
almost every day. Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I said nice, like, oh, nice.
I
That's
mean,
cool, but no, it's
yeah,
not
it
nice.
sucks, but like, the only way I get my flight physical back is to do what I just did, which was do really good on the neuropsych eval, which is what they worked on with me for months, right? Preparing for it, taking it, because like I said, my first few weeks, my memory was just fucked up. Now, a lot of that can be contributed to, they did a brain surgery, but also it was 14 hours long, so there's almost an entire day under with anesthesia. So how much was that fucking me up? There's brain swelling after the surgery, so how much was the brain swelling fucking me up?
I have to tell him.
What's that?
What you did.
Oh, do you have the video?
I'll show you.
I called the FaceTime this guy. I have to.
No. Let me tell you how good this guy was. Right. So March 30th is when you had the surgery.
29th.
29th.
Yep.
I want to say it was because how long was the surgery?
14 hours.
All right. So I want to say, Bruce, like within the 14 hours after the surgery, he had the wherewithal to call out his phone and say, "Hey, Surrey," and then he called us on our messenger.
No, that's not what I did. That
did you actually have your phone? No, you called your dad.
No. I called. I asked Siri to call my dad and
that
Shanna.
was right after the surgery.
So
yeah,
but I was waking up and I woke up in a dark room and nobody was near me. Although I don't remember, but my wife is adamant that I woke up twice. She said, "You woke up when they took the thing out of your mouth." She's like, "You just don't remember that." And my dad, and she was there. She's like, "We were there when you woke up. We talked to you. We had full-on conversations." But what I remember is waking up again at like maybe 2 a.m. It was dark. Nobody was there. So I told my phone to call my wife and be like, "What the fuck happened?" And she's like, "We've already been through this."
So he decides to call us. Maybe it was a little bit after that then.
It was the next day when I slept throughout the rest of the night.
He was totally wrapped up. In my mind, I'm like, talking to him, like, I kind of feel like you downplayed it a little bit because I didn't realize they were going to have to, like, cut him open. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And,
I didn't tell everybody how invasive it was.
I just didn't have any concept. So, anyways, he's all wrapped up, and he calls me, Rob. Well, he calls our group, our Facebook group that we talk to every day. These are our neighbors, our friends. And you could tell he was under the influence, but I can understand everything he was saying. You wouldn't have thought he had brain surgery.
Right.
You just thought he was just a little doped up.
Oh, I was very drugged up. They were pumping me full of fentanyl for a week. Yeah.
But I was just so freaking impressed, and the jackass that I am, I decided to screen record it and post it on Facebook.
That's good. I'm glad you did that. Now I have something to look at.
It's in the memory bank.
Yeah.
I
man.
got
That's
it.
good stuff.
Yeah, and I was so proud of him, really, because it was all inspiring, really.
It was tough. The recovery is not. I don't recommend brain surgery
No.
if you don't need it. It's not an elective
I
surgery.
will not do that
Yeah.
willingly.
But, I mean, and I tell people this all the time, like, because I always like, he's a good dude, and I like bragging on him, but you would never have thought that he had brain surgery.
It's months now later.
Yeah. Well,
it's starting to get better, but that therapy really freaking helped. I don't know.
I'm glad it did.
What I would do without that center,
Yeah.
And they should be promoted more for what they do down there, because I go down there every day. There's always a new person with a head injury from a car accident. There's a guy that I was talking to the other day that had a very similar surgery to mine, but he had a cancerous mass in his head. So not only did he have a surgery in his brain, he was pumped full of chemo, whatever that's called, the chemotherapy drugs for months prior to try and shrink it so the surgery was manageable. I mean, and I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, here I am feeling sorry for myself because I can't fly airplanes. This dude, when I was having a conversation with, was just like yes and no. Like that's as
rough.
far as his language skills went.
How were your like muscular abilities afterwards? Was it just normal, or was it kind of a relearning process as
No,
well?
I woke up just fine, even though they warned me when I went under. And this is what sucks. Is like right before I go under, he's like, "Hey man, we're gonna cut you like this, and we're gonna do," and they're like drawing on you. He's like, "If you wake up and you can't move your left side, it's okay. Don't freak out," because he's like, the mask they pulled out was very close to the motor area on the right side. So he's like, "We're tracking. You're not waking up paralyzed." He's like, "It just may take until the swelling goes down." So he's like, "I don't believe it would be permanent, but if you can't move your left leg and arm, it's only going to be a temporary thing."
So did you have an $11,000 haircut kind of thing? Or?
Pretty much, yeah. They they zipped me across there like that, and they stitched me up. But when I woke up, the first thing I did, I think on the call, half the call is like me moving my left side because, like I said, the neurosurgeon. This was like the last thing I remember going under was like, you may be paralyzed on your left side for a while, and I was just like, fuck,
That's terrifying.
yeah.
So, all right. So we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna wrap it up because we're getting close to our hour mark.
Okay.
Oh damn, we're wrapping it up.
No, we're at 51. This is
Man,
great.
we didn't even get started.
I know, but this has been so good. Now I know my camera has about 30 minutes. I need to have direct.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know I got recorded everything on audio, but I lost my visual because I didn't have power connected to it. That's on me. We're just working through the kinks.
yeah.
If I ever do this again, I apologize. I feel like he and I were in on this.
No.
You should jump in and ask questions.
No.
'cause,
No.
Like that's why I said
Yeah.
like the ETL thing. I want you to be involved too.
No.
Can we wrap it up in like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. So what is your most memorable flight
I don't fly.
ever?
No.
What are you talking
You've
about?
never flown?
I flew with him once.
He did fly, and
Then
I
that
took
would
him up
be
in the
your most
airplane.
memorable
Yeah.
flight,
Of
would
course
it
it
not?
How did you
was.
forget about that?
Of course it was. I made a video out of it.
Yeah.
And I used it for his
Yeah.
retirement party. And
I was like, "Let's go, man. Come to." I was like, "What are you doing? Let's go to the
this
airport."
guy would
Yeah.
always say, "Hey, Lee, when you want to go up?" I'm like, "Al, I am ready whenever you say. I will go." And it took like a year
Well,
before we went up.
before the drought, the beginning of the year was
Yeah.
very cloudy and wet,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So I didn't want to take him up in instrument weather,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like, what's the point at that point?
Right. That's fair.
At some point, I just
yeah.
thought he was fucking with me. I'm like, "Are we really gonna do this?"
We're not doing this.
Yeah.
Because every day he's like, "Hey, I think it's
It's
like,
good.
all right.
Today looks good.
It looks good."
Well,
Okay.
just it's hard to describe to them like, all right, hey,
I have
today's
no
a good
clue.
day, but it's bumpy, so I don't want to take him up when he's gonna throw up, right? And they don't. I mean, you know how an airplane
Oh, I
is.
know how.
They're
I
only.
know there.
My airplane is 1,800 pounds empty.
Yeah.
You get tossed around, so
yeah.
and the heat temperature in Texas when it goes from cool in the morning to hot in the afternoon, that's turbulent. Like it
You're
is
talking
really
about
bad.
like if it's a green
Yeah.
ground to a brown ground, like it's so rough, man.
I will share with you a really cool story that I thought was cool. Last June or May, it was May of last year, he calls me up and says, "Hey, I want to be landing at New Braunfels Airport in the Black Hawk."
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
His daughter. I said, "Well, yeah." I brought his daughter, my son, and we met him. I could see him landing on to on the airport, and then as I got up there, we're getting out. And I made a video of all this. Me and the kids and I could still see the propellers rode. And,
Yeah.
and I had it all recorded.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was just such a really cool. And now for Sloan, it's like another day. It's like, yeah, my dad flies helicopters. For me, I'm like, this is cool shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
And so we got to go up in there and see the Black Hawk and all that stuff. But that was a really fun experience. 'Cause
They're
I was
awesome, dude. Blackhawks are amazing.
There's so
So
much
cool.
power. It's hard
There's
to
so much.
describe. Yeah.
But I was able to record all that, and now I captured that memory, and that was awesome. You do got to share your story with Double Dude Dubs that got the diarrhea story. Can you share that?
I mean, yeah, he was asking me some stuff about like Iraq or whatever, and I was like, everybody thinks it's war, and it is war, and it's crazy. But the things I remember mostly of these deployments are the fun, dumb times that we had with the other soldiers, and one of my soldiers was just sick. He was my door gunner. Wasn't feeling very good. They sat in the back of the aircraft, and he just had to shit really bad. So it's middle of the night. We're going to another base in Iraq, and he's like, "Dude, we gotta land. I can't hold it." So we're just like, "All right, dude, we'll land. You can get out." So he lands. He gets out, runs out of the helicopter, literally gets to like the edge of the propellers, and just drops trout and takes a shit right on the edge. But not one to lose a chance of fucking with anybody. Nobody in the back of the helicopter can see him. But we can, because we have our night vision goggles on, and the helicopter has an IR searchlight, right? So I take the IR searchlight, and we can move it and focus it on people, kind of like a police helicopter, right?
Yeah.
So it blasted him with the light. So, and really the only people that could see it were the other helicopter, right? Because we fly in pairs everywhere in Iraq. So they all of a sudden it's dark. He's out there shitting. It's dark as shit. Nobody can see. And then we blast them with the IR light. Now all of a sudden the other aircraft behind us is just laughing their asses off.
Dude.
Yeah. And then, it's funny is we have people literally in the back of the helicopter, because you can fit 12 people.
Yeah.
Just laughing their ass. Like, no clue that a guy is 20 feet from them, diarrhea all over the damn ground. Yeah.
You can see that on IR for sure. Yeah.
Oh, you can see everything. I mean, flying with the NVGs is amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Although we've outflown the capabilities with them in combat theater, but everybody thinks they're, the movie makes them look much better than they actually are.
For sure. No, I've seen the real footage. Yeah. It's not that great.
You lose a lot of depth perception, a lot of detail. And I guess what most people don't realize is the detail is how you realize how close and maybe how fast your closure rate is on the ground. So when you lose that, then I wouldn't say it's best guess, but it's really experience at that point. Yeah. How fast am I coming in? How high above the ground am I? So
I imagine like aerial refueling at night with those NVGs.
So I never did that. That's more of a special operations thing. Then they do it though. They do it. Yeah. They go out and they train to do it all the time. So.
Well. Yeah. I think you guys see now. I know what I need to do next. My camera died again. My other battery died.
Is it overheating? Maybe
it could be, but the problem is I need to have direct. Whatever.
Yeah.
This worked out really good.
Yeah, it works out.
I mean, I gotta work.
I'd love to be on again if y'all would have it, because I have so many more stories to tell.
Well,
it's so fun.
So here's the thing about this guy. When I was talking to him, he's here pretty often.
Yeah.
And
too often.
So I mean, like when we do another one, we'll try to frame it out a little bit of what we're going to talk about, and just have fun with it. And Matt said he would do it.
Yeah.
And we